There is a $1 liquid in every hardware store and auto parts retailer in the country that makes any glass surface permanently invisible to water, fog, and ice. Not water resistant, not fog delayed. Completely and permanently hydrophobic at the molecular level. One wipe on any glass surface and water beads into perfect spheres, rolls off without resistance at driving speeds, and fog never forms regardless of temperature differential or humidity. The global automotive glass market was valued at over $18 billion in 2023 and is projected to approach $50 billion by 2033. A meaningful fraction of that revenue depends on drivers believing that foggy, rain-streaked glass is an unavoidable condition requiring expensive treatment or proprietary branded products. Howard Ohlhausen discovered the active compound in 1971. The compound costs less than $1. It has been available at every hardware store since before most drivers on the road today were born. Welcome to Forbidden Camping. This is where we open the vaults the industry welded shut. The year is 1969, and Howard Ohlhausen is working in a small research facility in the American Southwest with an obsession that would take 2 years to change automotive history. Ohlhausen is not affiliated with any major glass manufacturer, has no university funding, and no corporate backing. He is an independent inventor working with silicone polymer chemistry, specifically polydimethylsiloxane, a silicone compound used industrially in lubricants, sealants, and medical devices. What Ohlhausen notices is a property that silicone chemistry has always possessed, but that nobody in the automotive industry has chosen to exploit. When polydimethylsiloxane is applied as an ultra-thin film to a glass surface, it chemically bonds to the silicon dioxide molecules in the glass matrix through a process called silanization. The silicone chains attach at one end to the glass surface and extend outward like an invisible molecular brush. Water molecules cannot bond to the nonpolar silicone chains and instead form beaded spheres that roll off the treated surface with virtually zero friction. In 1971, Ohlhausen files a patent for what he calls an invisible windshield wiper, a silicone polymer treatment for automotive glass that makes rain-shedding wipers effectively unnecessary at driving speeds above 45 miles per hour. He begins selling the product commercially in 1972 under the company name Unelco, initially targeting truck drivers and racing teams who have the most to gain from dramatically improved wet weather visibility. The results are immediate and impossible to argue with. Rain hitting a treated windshield at highway speed simply does not stay. It beads, fragments, and evacuates the glass surface in under a second. Drivers report seeing clearly in heavy rain at speeds where untreated glass becomes nearly opaque. By the mid-1970s, Ohlhausen has renamed the product Rain-X, and the compound that costs pennies per application is turning into a recognizable brand. But here's the part of this story the automotive glass industry has never highlighted publicly. The active ingredient in Rain-X has never been a proprietary secret. It is polydimethylsiloxane, or PDMS, the same silicone compound available by the gallon from silicone sealant manufacturers for pennies per application. It is the same compound sold in auto parts stores, hardware stores, and grocery aisles since the early 1980s as automotive silicone spray or silicone lubricant. Rain-X launched at $5 to $8 per small bottle in the mid-1970s and has sold at that price range for 5 decades, processing millions of transactions per year across retail channels, while the same active compound sits on an adjacent aisle in a larger container at a fraction of the cost per milliliter. The branded product extracts maximum revenue from a compound that costs less than $1 per vehicle treatment and has never required proprietary chemistry to produce. The markup on branded windshield treatment products relative to equivalent compound generic silicone products at retail is typically between 400 and 800%. The chemistry behind why this works is worth understanding completely, because once you understand it, you will never look at a foggy windshield or a rain-blurred glass surface the same way again. Glass is not the smooth, non-reactive surface it appears to be. At the microscopic level, glass is covered in hydroxyl groups, silicon and oxygen atoms with exposed hydrogen bonds that make the glass surface fundamentally hydrophilic, meaning it naturally attracts and holds water molecules. This is precisely why water spreads flat across untreated glass rather than beading. The water molecules form hydrogen bonds with the hydroxyl groups on the glass surface, creating the thin adhesive film that fogs your bathroom mirror, smears your windshield in rain, and requires constant wiper activation to remain manageable. Glass has been manufactured in the same hydrophilic state since the first automotive windshields appeared in the early 20th century, not because hydrophilic glass is superior, but because untreated glass is cheaper to produce at scale and more profitable to maintain. This mechanism was not discovered in 1971. The underlying chemistry of silanol bonding to glass surfaces was documented by chemists at Corning Glass Works in the 1940s as part of wartime research into waterproofing optical instruments for Pacific Theater military use. The United States military needed binoculars, periscopes, rangefinders, and sighting instruments that would not fog in the extreme humidity of Pacific Island combat environments. Corning researchers discovered that silicone polymer coatings applied to optical glass surfaces prevented fogging by converting the hydrophilic glass surface to a permanent hydrophobic state. Field reports documented that treated optical equipment maintained clear visibility in conditions that rendered untreated instruments useless within minutes. The research was classified as militarily significant and directed toward optical and aircraft applications through the post-war decade. After the war, it remained primarily within military and optical applications, while automotive glass continued to fog, streak, and require constant wiper maintenance. Here is where the story takes the turn that should make every driver furious. The automotive glass market in 2023 was valued at approximately $18 billion globally. A meaningful portion of that revenue is structurally dependent on untreated glass performing poorly in weather conditions. The wiper blade market alone generates over $3 billion annually in North America, wiper blades existing specifically to manage water behavior on untreated hydrophilic glass. A treated glass surface at highway speed sheds rain without wipers. If every windshield on every production vehicle were treated with the silicone polymer chemistry Ohlhausen demonstrated in 1971, the wiper blade aftermarket would face structural collapse. The economic architecture of automotive glass maintenance depends entirely on glass that performs poorly in rain. The suppression mechanism is quieter and more structural than active prohibition. Automakers specify standard untreated glass for production vehicles because standard untreated glass is cheaper to manufacture, does not require additional processing at the factory, and generates downstream aftermarket revenue through wiper blade replacement cycles and glass maintenance products. The consumer arrives at the dealership with a vehicle that came from the factory with glass that will fog in humidity differential, streak in rain, and ice over in freezing temperatures. Conditions requiring maintenance products sold in the accessories department, wiper blades sold in the parts department, and replacement windshields sold through the glass service network. This is not malice. It is the invisible hand of downstream revenue optimization operating through every vehicle specification decision made since automotive glass became a standard safety component. But here is what they cannot take from you. The chemistry is 80 years old. The compound is not proprietary. Polydimethylsiloxane, dimethicone, silicone fluid, automotive silicone spray, and hundreds of equivalent commercial products all contain the same hydrophobic silicone polymer chemistry at costs ranging from $1 to $3 per complete vehicle treatment. The branded automotive glass treatments at auto parts stores cost between $8 and $20 per small bottle and contain the same active compound as a $1 can of automotive silicone spray from the hardware aisle. MIT researchers who published anti-fogging glass research in ACS Nano confirmed that polymer layers with combined hydrophilic and hydrophobic properties create durable anti-fogging effects on glass surfaces. The chemistry is published, peer-reviewed, and freely available. It is the same silicone chemistry that Ohlhausen applied to his first windshield in 1971. The application method that the industry does not want to be common knowledge is almost insultingly simple. Purchase a can of automotive silicone spray from any hardware store, home improvement retailer, or auto parts outlet. The product should list polydimethylsiloxane, dimethicone, or silicone fluid as the primary active ingredient. A standard 11-ounce aerosol can cost between $4 and $8 and contains enough silicone polymer to treat every glass surface on 4 or 5 vehicles. Begin by cleaning the glass thoroughly with isopropyl alcohol and a microfiber cloth to remove any silicone residue, wax, soap film, or contaminants that would prevent the silicone polymer from bonding directly to the glass surface. Contamination on the glass surface prevents proper silanization and reduces the durability of the treatment dramatically. After cleaning, allow the glass to dry completely. Apply the silicone spray in a thin, even coat across the entire glass surface, working in small sections and buffing each section with a clean, dry microfiber cloth within 30 seconds of application. The silicone polymer bonds to the glass surface during this buffing stage, and immediate buffing is critical to prevent uneven film formation that creates optical distortion. Do not allow the product to dry without buffing. After the first coat is applied and buffed, apply a second coat immediately following the same process for maximum bonding depth and coverage. Allow the treated surface to cure for at least 2 hours before exposure to rain or washing. For interior glass surfaces, including windshield interiors, bathroom mirrors, shower glass, and eyeglasses, apply the same silicone polymer treatment and buff dry. The interior windshield in any vehicle is the primary fogging surface during temperature differentials. A single silicone polymer treatment on the interior glass surface permanently eliminates windshield fogging from temperature differential. The full treatment on every glass surface of a standard sedan takes approximately 45 minutes from start to finish. The total material cost is between $1 and $2 of silicone spray per vehicle. Compare that to a professional windshield treatment at a detailing shop costing between $50 and $150. Compare it to a full set of replacement wiper blades costing between $30 and $80 and requiring replacement every 6 to 12 months. Compare it to the anti-icing products, windshield defogging sprays, and visibility improvement products sold at every automotive retailer that collectively address symptoms of untreated glass rather than solving the underlying surface chemistry permanently. A $1 silicone treatment lasting 3 to 4 months on exterior glass surfaces eliminates the need for every one of those products simultaneously for a fraction of their combined annual cost. The applications extend to every glass surface that currently costs you money or reduces your safety. Bathroom mirrors that fog immediately after every shower can be permanently treated with the same silicone polymer application. Shower glass doors that develop water spots and mineral deposits within weeks of cleaning can be treated to prevent water adhesion entirely, eliminating hours of annual cleaning and the corrosive cleaning products required to restore untreated glass. Eyeglasses that fog when moving between temperature zones respond to diluted silicone polymer treatment applied with a microfiber cloth. Swimming goggles treated with a thin silicone polymer application maintain optical clarity in chlorinated water for extended periods. Any glass surface that interacts with water, humidity, or temperature differentials benefits from this chemistry because the fundamental mechanism is universal and the compound has never expired. Howard Ohlhausen demonstrated this chemistry on a windshield in 1971. Military optical researchers documented it in classified reports in the 1940s. The compound has been on hardware store shelves since before most drivers on American roads today earned their first license. The branded windshield treatment market processes hundreds of millions of dollars in annual retail sales, selling a marked-up version of a compound that costs less than $1 per vehicle. The wiper blade market generates over $3 billion annually in North America, maintaining the consequence of untreated glass that a $1 silicone application eliminates for months. The fogged bathroom mirror, wiped dry every morning, the rain-smeared windshield that demands constant wiper speed adjustment, the shower door scrubbed clean of mineral scale every month, none of these are inevitable features of glass. They are all consequences of one suppressed chemistry that the industry built a multi-billion-dollar maintenance ecosystem around. The automotive glass industry has been selling drivers the maintenance of untreated glass performance for 5 decades, since Ohlhausen demonstrated that untreated glass performance was unnecessary. Every wiper blade installed since 1972 is a wiper blade installed on glass that could have been treated. Every foggy morning windshield, every bathroom mirror wiped dry after a shower, every shower door scrubbed clean of mineral scale is a daily consequence of a suppression that operates not through prohibition, but through the structural invisibility of a cheap solution inside a market built around expensive symptoms. The silicone polymer has been on the shelf since before you first drove a car. The chemistry has been in the military archives since the 1940s. Nobody in the automotive industry told you because nobody in the automotive industry profits when your glass works perfectly. Subscribe and share this video. Every share puts a $1 solution in the hands of someone still buying $30 wiper blades every season. The next vault opens soon.